Hi, welcome back. Secret House Against Hip Hop album review. I fucking forgot.
Hip-hop. We're raps.
Yeah.
Raps.
Yeah.
It's raps.
Tokyo based hip hop art and culture conversations and such, mostly just album conversations. And today, Jed and I are back to discuss the new Alchemist, Mike and Wiki collaborative project called Faith is a Rock. 10 songs, 31 minutes. Last year we got the EP from the three of them, and
Is that a year ago already?
I think so.
Wow.
I think it was released almost a year ago, so maybe December-ish. I don't know.
What?
But yeah, I think people who are hip to our channel are familiar. We've talked about how we know Alchemist. Everybody should know fucking Alchemist at this point. Going towards a 30-year career of just fucking fire music and collaboration
Worked
with artists.
everyone,
Yeah.
legendary
Yeah.
body of work.
I was thinking about my top 5 Alchemist beats, and it really does spread from like Jadakiss and Prodigy to like casual, all the way up until our like contemporary artists like fucking Arm & Hammer. So as far as Mike, we're fucking hip with that too. We've reviewed him a few times. I don't think we've got a full length wiki on here, but even our man L Spade is a big fan of him. So yeah, we're happy to get back into this project, and let's go, man. Fucking
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about how we know Wiki. I guess we're just
I know him from like Rat King.
okay. I think I know him probably from Secret Circle,
Okay.
like Wiki, Antoine, and Lil Ugly Mane.
Right. I don't know if that was before or after Rat King. That was after Rat King,
I think
right?
that was
Yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of him for quite a long time. His album, like No Mountains in Manhattan, is that the name of the shit? I forgot. No, but he's dope. I think his voice is real dope. I like the missing tooth, aesthetic going on. Did he get that fixed?
I don't know. I don't know if he got it fixed, but that Half God joint he put out.
That's right.
Earlier this year or last year, maybe.
I think Spade put that on his albums of the year list.
I think
maybe
he put
it
it
was
on
2 years ago.
Maybe a couple of years ago. Now.
Okay.
But that's a really great record. I mean, that's my favorite thing that he's done by himself so far. So.
Wiki is incredible. I mean, he's a really dope rapper, and I really like his voice. And the only problems I've ever really had with him is some of the content that he talks about and shit. Like his women tracks, I'm always just like, all right, yeah, I could do without that one. But I'm a huge fan of all three of these cats. And Mike, since I first heard him on May God Bless Your Hustle, I don't know, was that 2017 maybe?
Yeah.
I've been all on board. I'm a huge fan. Typically, I like Mike over Mike's own production, the kind of the weird things and stuff like that. But I could never complain about, Mike and Alchemist. Like, how do you complain about Alchemist? Don't ever complain about Alchemist.
Shouts out to DJ L Spade, wherever he may be.
Word. And you know what? Like, you remember at the height of COVID, right? Where people were like, oh yeah, they should do, a versus between this person and that person and shit.
Yeah.
People were like, yo, fucking
Madlib,
if
right?
Madlib went against Alchemist will get fucking washed. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to agree with that, because to be honest with you, it's a tighter fight than a lot of people think. And it depends on the venue that they do that. It's very different if they did that in front of an audience versus whether they were in a room together. You know what I mean? Like, but I think part of it is, and Alchemist was like, nah, I'm good.
He
like,
was humble about it.
Very humble about it. And I think that's him paying respect towards Madlib. Everybody should respect Madlib. Only reason I'm bringing this shit up is because his career is incredible. And this second kind of post like music industry Alchemist, when he's like working with major stars, he's going through all the distribution, is going through, this or that thing that takes an album a while to come out. After he's like where he's at now, where he's just like, fuck it, let's record and put it out. This resurgence of Alchemist is strong as anything he's ever done.
I think it's also worth highlighting just the whole versus like competitive thing. Well, I think it was fun, and some of them were fun to watch. Like, both of these artists have so much excellent work in the more avant-garde and like weirder spaces, more alternative type music. And like, if Alchemist was trying to play beats off of the Arm & Hammer joint, or Madlib was trying to play like DJ Rels, or even like Further Adventures of Lord Quaz or whatever, like half the crowd would just be staring like, well, what is this? Like, both of those artists go so much deeper than just trying to like get the crowd moving and start memes.
I usually don't really care to engage in those like hip hop like my top 5 is better than yours, or like, what do you put it? But you know, it seems to be part of the culture. And the only thing I'm really getting at towards that is that like Alchemist is crazy.
Dope.
And if you don't think Alchemist is crazy, I think you and I, not you and I, but the royal you and I are gonna have like fundamental disagreements as people, and you're probably a bad person.
Hey.
Or you haven't thought enough. I don't know. I like to hate a lot. Yeah, shout out to me. But yeah, these guys, them together, it's incredible, man. I really like. I like this album, and I like the newer songs than I did the previous 3 that were released. In fact, for me, the previous 3 that were released earlier this year or last year, I don't really care for those ones all that much.
Odd Ways was one of my favorite songs of this or last year, whichever year it was. I really like that song.
That's a Mike's like a solo joint.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the production is so breezy and layered, and Mike's just flowing so effortlessly over it. I really enjoy that track. I will say that, like, and this isn't really a fault of this album in a vacuum, but it is always a little disappointing when you've heard a third of an album before it comes out. Like, I definitely, put my headphones on. I'm like, all right, I'm going to give this a listen. And I'm like, wait, I know this song. Yeah. And then Scribble Jam came on. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It was just a single. And then Be Realistic came on. I'm like, oh, I've heard this one. Yeah. And then Memory Loss, I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then one more comes on. I'm like, oh, I've heard this one. This is definitely, an issue I've had with albums before and will have with albums in the future. But I try and go out of my way to not listen to singles anymore because of this.
Yeah. I feel you. Like, actually, when it got to Odd Ways, I was like, yo, where's that? I've heard this. Somebody flipped this same sample before. I was like, where's that shit from? And I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, okay. Like, fucking, somebody genius flipped this before, too, and it was dope. And I was like, oh, that was Alchemist again, too. But one of the things that I really like about this album that, 2 of the 3 tracks that were previously released, is that the back and forth between Wiki and Mike, it's so organic, and it feels like it was recorded like as they were together with Alchemist, especially the kind of approach to like the back and forth barring that they do, where it's like, 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars, and I think that they work really well together like that. Whereas the singles that were released before, it's a single Mike track, it's a single Wiki track, and then the double up for them, right? But even that double up one is not as like cohesive. It doesn't feel as like homies as much as like the first track, Stargate. Like when Stargate came on, I was like, damn, Wiki's so fucking nice. And then Mike comes on, I'm like, damn, fucking Mike is so nice. And the production, there's not much that you could really say about Alchemist's production other than the fact it's like really dope, or start pinning down like certain sonic aspects of it. But these are just like really good, dope rap beats. And I, speaking of that competitive nature, that sixth element of hip hop to who was better, who was dope, or what verse was better, which is not the point even with this type of music that they're making. They're not like, yo, I'm the number 1 rapper in the world, and then the other one's like, well, I'm actually probably number 1. You can be 1A, I'll be, it's just like I found myself being like, damn, like impossible. Like I don't know who is doper on this shit. Like. But
I mean, they work so well as as a trio. Yeah, all 3 of them. One thing that Alchemist has always been good at, but something that's become really evident during this more avant-garde period of his career, is his ability to just provide perfect beats for whoever he's working with. I've never been like, this is cool, but I'd like to hear Earl on here. This is all right, but what if Joe Budden was on this track? It's very like, okay, Alchemist has really considered who these beats go to. I don't know if this is like a process of like Alk just gives a bunch of beats to these guys, or if it's the case that the artists reach out to him and he like takes a moment and produces beats from scratch. I imagine his vault, his body of work must be thousands of tracks at this point.
It seemed like he just smoked trees and make music all day. And just, right. Got a fucking, his studio spaces, his creative spaces, also his hangout spot. Seems like. But no, I agree with what you're saying. In fact, earlier when I was saying I tend to like Mike over Mike's own production more than I do on his collabs with other producers. But like Bledsoe, track number 4 on this album, that's kind of unlike any other type of beat that I've heard this grouping of MCs over. And it's suitable. It's not like, oh man, this is weird, like Never Knock off of, you know, Warren My Pen Mike, or even like Ipari Park from Mike. But it's a sonic palette that works really well with the type of music you come to expect from an artist like Mike or Wiki. And they're really dope. Like, I like how just Alchemist meets him there. My personal favorite on this album is easily Mayor's a Cop.
Mayor's a Cop.
Easily Mayor's a Cop. I fucking think like this track is amazing. I mean, like, if for people that come to our channel, you know, Jeff and I are leftist Marxists of, you know, varying tendencies on that. But yeah, I'm very much a Marxist Leninist for the most part. And you know, when I hear a verse like this, I'm just like, hell yeah, that's some straight up class consciousness from Wiki right there. Like, you know, he doesn't really diagnose anything but the material condition. He's not like, yeah, they're fucking us up because we're black and Puerto Rican. He's just like, the whole area is disrupted by police presence.
Yes.
You know, he goes into people dying from exposure is like one of the first things that he talks about, and how infrastructure, how the lack of infrastructure is just different for him. Like, they want to stay on the train just for a little bit more warmth. And we've heard shit like that before from other artists, like even on that Big Just Gaffling Whip shit. He's like, he's cold as shit, just got to stay on the train. But I just fucking love that track, the back and forth at the end. And it's not all like, yo, listen how bad the cops are. Like, it kind of meanders and goes elsewhere throughout the track, with them saying, like, you know, Mike might say some shit like, I be thinking who gonna take the ball, I don't care for mascots. And it's like, you get inklings of that, but just that first verse from Wiki, I'm just like, hell yeah, that shit is phenomenal.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, you know, as leftists, we always have an inclination that, you know, everything has to be a critique. Like,
sure,
you want to have like an astute critique of everything, you know, especially as materialists as we are. So yeah, I mean, fuck Eric Adams, but
True
also yeah, the manner within which they present these conditions, while it would be like nice for them to, you know, go all out like Red on this track, like I think it functions really, really well as just a very, you know, vivid snapshot of the conditions of New York at this exact moment.
Yeah, is like quasi academic and pretentious as I like to get in and talk about these type of things. I really also don't care to listen to, just as much as I don't care to listen to music that is talking about other themes that I just feel are like, I can't really rock with that. You talking about that. I also don't want to hear somebody being like, time to go read some books and be radical, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like the inkling and the sprinkling of what he's saying here is like one of the reasons that I enjoy in Arm & Hammer, because it's very radical, but at the same time it's poetic and different form of expression that is not meant to be a specific gear towards revolution. Like, this is the reason that I think that that's really dope from them is because you quite often hear, you know, like, fuck the police, but this is just a little bit off that center line to a degree that's really important. He's not even saying like the mayor's a cop kind of highlights how the institution of it trickles all the way down.
Fundamentally,
we've cultivated a society that in a way of life that believes it's better to use social resources to put a cop on a corner than it is to put a cop on a corner between a poor person and food than it is to put food in front of the poor person.
People are cold and hungry, and the solution is some guy with a gun.
And it's like, you know, it's not even just like highlighted as this is a problem for a specific race of people, you know, like black or Latino or indigenous. You know, it's really just saying like, look at the problem here for everybody experiencing poverty. And when you get into your materialist bag and you look at the data, it's like, oh yeah, that's for real. And this is not something that's going to be solved by anti-racist training. Whether if the governor, if the mayor and the governor and the police chief are black, it doesn't really help towards any issues that are creating your Eric Gardners or your George Floyds. You know what I mean? It's like, and you look at those guys and it's like the through line, of course they're black, but I think something like 90% of the people killed by police earn less than $50,000 a year.
Yep.
Eric Gardner's killed for what? Selling loose cigarettes. George Floyd's killed for what? A counterfeit $20 bill. So allegedly, I don't even know how that ended, but you know, I think that this song is just fucking dope and really, really powerful. It's fucking fire too. It's just like good fucking rapping. The back and forth on the first track is definitely incredible for me too. Shit, yeah. Well, I you know, it's a short project. And I kind of feel like we don't need to unpackage too much of the shit, but like, you know, I fucking like it.
You got any lyrics?
I do. I do, anything? But like, I think right before we started recording, you see, I was having like this brain issue where I didn't even know how to start off Secret House. I don't know if I want to read anything like that, but like,
well, I mean, in any case, I mean, we've reviewed a lot of work by Alchemist before. We've reviewed Mike before. We're all fans of Wiki on the show. I feel like, you know, if you want to see us unpack that kind of stuff a bit more, those videos are there for you.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Mike and them are so fucking nice. Like, Mike is just really dope, and I like his voice is such an important part of his flow and kind of his tone that I don't think I'm gonna read any of these, but
I suppose it's true for Wiki as well.
Fucking
right? He's got such a distinctive voice. Just reading him off the page doesn't quite.
Yeah, Wiki just say some shit like sausages with his New York accent. I'm like, fucking sausages. Like, yeah, he's dope, man. I think I made some notes more about like fucking Police Abolition. More than I wrote lyrics and shit, you know what I mean? So yeah, we don't need to get into that.
Shouts out to our man DJ L Spade. Yeah. Last time we talked about Alk with Spade, Alk left him a nice comment in his video.
Yeah, he hunted Spade down.
We know you're watching this, Alk.
Let me see what type of music you're making, buddy. Yeah,
he was cool. He's dope. He's dope.
Yeah, Alchemist is one of the best.
I don't know how to recommend this album to people, because if you're not on board with Alchemist at this point, like, what are you doing, really?
Yeah.
But
everybody that wants to likes this type of shit
a Mike
knows
Wiki
this
and
project.
Alchemist album is aware. Yeah, anyone who's into that is going to be aware of this project.
I might recommend, if you like this project and it speaks to you in any reasonable way, I think that you should check out The End of Policing by Alex Vitale. It's a book. I think you should check out Our Prison's Obsolete by the great Angela Davis. And I don't know. I do think that Police Abolition is one of the most important and serious projects of any 21st century socialist project. The speed in which that's accomplished is, up to a variety of factors, but yeah, man, the police, it's a race problem, it's a class problem, it's a problem of a uniquely militarized police force that aggressively and brutally enacts campaigns that are the pillars of gentrification and closing of the commons, breaking up public spaces, upper class capital accumulation, the breaking up of community solidarity, and legal slavery in the prison industrial complex, just to name a few of those problems.
Was that off the top, or was that in your notes?
Freestyle, off the head. No, that's I mean, I got little sprinklings of things here. I've got
Okay, well,
mostly I was going to talk about the methods in which we achieved that through like the National African Congress back in 1955 and how they you know what I mean.
You were spitting just then, and I was like, "Oh, is
bars?
Just completely off the top." That was bars.
Yeah. I know I focus a lot on like black ideology because we black folks, and I feel closest to that community in a lot of ways, despite understanding that there's more black people in the United States than there are in Canada, and there's not some monolithic idea about the way to handle anything.
I mean, all three of yourself, myself, DJ L Spade, we're all three very different flavors of black.
Yeah. I got my shit come with adobo and shit. What does yours come with? Like cordon bleu. You know what I mean? Put a little cheese, cheese and ham and shit.
Maroon.
Yeah, it's like cordon bleu jerk. Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? The Philly Negro cuisine over here, and then El Spade with his pronunciations. And I be on that too, actually. Like Jed is the only one who knows how to speak out of the three of us. But yeah,
British.
I still think that if you want a superpower, if somebody says, what superpower would you take? And you say, I want to be fucking telepathic, you're probably a cop.
Ooh.
That's my heart. That's not even a hot take. I've thought about this. If you want to be able to read people's minds or make people do things with your mind, that's pretty fucking gross. Yeah, like get something useful. You know what I mean? Be bulletproof. I don't know. Fucking like depends on where you at. But I definitely Professor Xavier is a jerk.
The only like I feel like in the real world, like other than like magical healing powers, like most of these superpowers are kind of just selfish acts. Like being able to fly or being like real fucking strong, like aren't really that practical unless you're like a bricklayer or some shit.
You know what I mean?
Whereas if you can go up to people with cancer and be like, you are healed, and then walk away like you're actually doing a good thing for the world.
Hell yeah. Most superheroes are just cast that are really like what did you say? Really like efficient at beating people up.
Just
right?
very competent at violence. Yeah,
competent at violence.
That said, like you get a superpower, like some 3-letter organization is going to disappear you in 2
That's
weeks.
That's why I'd want a power that allows me to be wily and escape and shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm definitely not being a cop though.
Yeah, listen to this album. It's good.
It's fucking great.
Secret House. Shouts out to our patrons.
Oh yeah.
Shouts out to Noname Book Club.
Oh wait. Give your top three. Give your top three.
Top three.
We missed the top three.
Stargate, Mayor's a Cop, Odd Ways.
Stargate, Mayor's a Cop, Bledsoe.
Okay, word. First half of the album.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little bit hyped when I saw Scribble Jam because you know what Scribble Jam is. Like some people, maybe you don't. Maybe some people don't know what Scribble Jam is. But it was were you familiar with Scribble Jam?
No.
It was a really big. It was kind of like the go-to independent rap hip hop culture event in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Okay,
there was so much footage of like, Dose One battling in like Peace and Juice battling, your Eminems and everybody. There was a huge battle culture. Sage Francis, Idea, all of the emerging independent underground guys were kind of coming from that sector, including some that would, like your Rhyme Fest would, and it was like in the Midwest. So we always wanted, like I wanted to go, but I was in like California or Hawaii at the time.
Right.
And never got to go, but it still remains one of those, like, one of the doper events that ever took place in people's memory. It's up there with your Rocksteady anniversaries, your B-boy summits, your freestyle sessions, and Scribble Jam. So or like the Kappa, like if you're from the South, or Freaknik or some shit like that. Like, but it was more like underground, hip hop. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was. I was like, oh, maybe it's an ode to that. Maybe there's some things going on. But no, it's just like Scribble Jam. But yeah, I feel that. Yeah, shout out Secret House again.
Secret House.